As you know, we're about to go into the year 2021. As I'm recording this, it is currently December 31st, 2020, the last day which Adobe Flash Player will still be in use. Flash Player is a type of software that was used to run different kinds of media on the internet. And this ranges from things like games, music, videos, slideshows. Hell, I think entire websites were running on this shit. And Flash has been around for a hell of a long time, too. Longer than YouTube or any other of these video hosting websites, for the most part. And as a matter of fact, if you wanted to download or watch one of your favorite videos, you had to have Flash Player installed. And this was before extensions. Flash Player is literally this fucking old. As a matter of fact, it was first developed by Macromedia back in 1996. Not to mention, they also... Flash Player was developed as freeware that would work alongside other... Flash Player was developed as freeware that would work in tandem with other software such as Macromedia Dreamweaver, Macromedia Fireworks, and Macromedia Flash, which we'll get to in a minute. In order to create Adobe Flash, Future Splash, or Future Splash Animator, was an animating software created by FutureWave, which would later become Macromedia Flash, once acquired by Macromedia. It wasn't until ActionScript 1.0 came out for Adobe Flash 5 that I think Adobe Flash finally started coming into its own. You see, ActionScript was this programming language that you could actually use for Adobe Flash, which allowed you to make more than just silly fucking animations on a screen. You could have buttons, preloaders, interactive tools, and all this other shit, which obviously meant you could also make video games with it. As a result, this sort of created a community of different people with different creative skills, all using this application to make a whole variety of different things. Combine that with the stuff that already had to run on Adobe Flash Player, and you basically have this whole other side of the internet that you can access by having the software available. These would end up on different video game websites, movie websites, art websites, and eventually a sort of amalgamation of the such, which became Newgrounds. Probably one of my favorite time capsules of the internet, because you could just see like 20 or so years of content. You can go all the way back to 2001 and find a bunch of 9/11 Flash animations and Osama bin Laden shooters. But probably one of my favorite videos from this time was Zhao Zhao, Stickman series, where it's literally just a fucking Stickman fighting a bunch of other Stickmen. I'm pretty sure a lot of you have heard of it. While Newgrounds did start in the 90s, it really started to blow up in the 2000s. You know, back when everyone was using Internet Explorer, which looked like this. Yeah, that Internet Explorer. You know the one where all this shit was taking up half the screen, so you couldn't actually see what was in the window that you were actually browsing in. And, you know, Newgrounds, I'd say, is pretty damn iconic. Anyone who was browsing the internet in the 90s or even 2000s could tell you what Newgrounds is and all the stuff that came out of it. I'd say some of the most influential and talented cartoonists, animators, video game developers, and artists of today came from this site. And I think a lot of that just comes from taking what already worked, building upon it, and sort of making it into their own thing. But obviously, that can't really be done properly without, plain fucking talent. I mean, then as time went on, obviously, people were starting to move away from Flash Player in order to move on to bigger and better things, for better or worse. As a result, Flash and Flash Player in general has kind of dwindled. As a result, Flash and Flash Player kind of dwindled to the point where it wasn't even being used by anyone anymore except for, Cartoon Network because they want to cut costs. And soon, HTML5 sort of blew it out of the water. And not even really because people hated Adobe Flash. I think it was more so the browsers didn't want to have to support Adobe Flash Player, mainly due to how incredibly janky it is, and that HTML5 is a lot easier to work with. And that's how I would see it personally. And now fast forward to today. As I'm recording this on December 31st, 2020, Flash Player, as of tomorrow, it's going to get thrown to the fucking wayside. And it's not just Flash Player, it's Flash itself too. I mean, now it's been renamed to Animate, and it's lost the signature red color that has always defined the software's logo. It's almost like everyone wants to pretend that Flash doesn't exist, which is honestly kind of sad, because We're kind of ignoring 25 years of content, regardless of what site it might have been on. And now it's going to be completely inaccessible to basically anyone. But then again, time doesn't move for anyone, and it shouldn't move for anyone. At some point, we're just going to have to move on. We can have this little funeral for Flash while we like, and move on the next day. I mean, it's not going to stop us from living. It's not going to change anything. But if you really want to play Ned Flanders Killer so bad, and if you really want to watch Final Fantasy Sonic X, then I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Some mad lads have created this Flash Player emulator. This emulator is called Ruffle.rs, and it's being backed by members of Newgrounds themselves. So not only will we get access to all of our favorite shit, we'll get to keep on making more Flash animations and all this. We'll get to keep on making Flash animations and all this other bullshit too. Now, I can't tell you where I found this, because this is a secret, but I think this is one of the greatest conservation efforts on the internet ever. Yeah, better than all that, oh, we revolutionized computer technology bullshit. This is anime and memes and shit. This is far more important. But regardless, this does mean that we're never going to be able to treat Flash the same way ever again. And that's honestly kind of sad. I mean, hell, I still use Macromedia products. Like, not even like Adobe, like Macromedia, as in I still have Macromedia Flash 8, as in the last line of Macromedia products to still be called Macromedia before going defunct in 2005 and getting bought out by Adobe. Yeah, it was an animator, but it kind of transcended that and sort of became this sort of canvas where you could create literally whatever the fuck you want. It really does feel, in the grand scheme of things, we took it for granted. But yeah, HTML5 will always exist, but Flash was really its own thing. I don't think we'll ever have the same name or same community as Flash. It didn't bring people together the same way Flash did. It's definitely not going to be remembered the same way Flash is, which is kind of a shame. That is, if it does actually die out. But I still think this shit is kind of important, because not only does it mean that we still have access to it, it means that future generations who probably have never even heard of Adobe Flash will get to experience the same things we did in the past too.